Nothing scares me more than coming back from New Year's break to an email that says, "Hope you're feeling recharged."
3 rounds of interviews, 2 coding questions, 2 logic questions, a pop quiz, and I still didn't get the job.
If this is not an indication of how bad the job market is right now, I don't know what is.
Okay, so today we have an interesting one. We're going to be taking a look at some insane job listings and demands these companies are making in today's world. They know that people are desperate for a job just to be able to try to pay the bills every month. So they require more and more from you just to be able to have the opportunity to be overworked by them. We have a ton of stuff to go over today, along with comments from you guys from previous videos. So if you want to be featured on a future video, leave in the comments down below. But let's just jump right into it.
If this is not an indication of how bad the job market is right now, I don't know what is. I was on LinkedIn scrolling and just, looking at updates as one does. And I happened to come across this role that this company had posted. And in the description of what to expect and what their requirements were, they specifically said, do not expect this to be a 9 to 5. This is for people who want to work hard. That was the first thing I was like, can you not work hard in a 9 to 5? That was my first thought. The second thing they had in their list of requirements was, if you are looking for work-life balance, this job is not for you. I'm kind of torn about that response because, for one, at least they're honest. But for normal people who want to have a life beyond work and outside of work, I just thought it was crazy.
If they're saying that before you even walk in the door, I can't imagine what it's like to actually work there. It must be a nightmare. But we're going to start off with a screenshot that is very relevant in today's world. The 2026 job market in a nutshell. Do you think it's ethical to automate people's jobs? That's a question on one of these applications now. Even if by some miracle you do get hired by this company, that probably means you're going to lose it in the future to a robot. Let's move on to another one that is becoming increasingly more common. You got to jump through hoop after hoop just to be able to apply now. A 2-minute video introduction required. As a final step for this application, please submit a 2-minute video answering prompts below. Most won't complete this step. That's intentional. In your 2-minute video, please cover why this role at Infinite Academics and why you. 1 or 2 specific experiences teaching students, your secret sauce as a teacher, and an optional teach us something in 15 to 20 seconds. I know there's a lot of people out there that are not comfortable talking on camera. I still think that I'm not the best at doing it, and I've been making videos for 15 years. So imagine pulling out the webcam and doing a little teacher prompt for 2 minutes when it's basically guaranteed that it would be pretty awkward. I asked you guys in an older video, what's the worst job listing you've ever seen? $15 an hour with a master's degree. I was told that I was overqualified because I had a master's. Mind you, I had 0 work experience. The pay that they were giving was exposure, aka $0. $14 an hour, be available 24/7 for answering service. Also a bachelor's degree just to be a receptionist for an HVAC company. Armed guard job at $11 an hour, must have your own belt, gun, and vehicle. For casinos and bars, $11. When I first started working, pyramid scheme jobs were everywhere. These jobs expected thousands of dollars in investments. We are going to see an example or two a little bit later. A certified RN, 60 hours at $14.50 an hour. $40,000 a year as a senior cybersecurity engineer. Must have at least 10 to 15 years experience for 40 grand. Hours 8 to 5 p.m. On call 1 weekend per month as well, and on site in Washington, D.C. No remote work, and they deduct $40 a month from your pay for parking if you drive in. Oh man. The absolute worst was an analyst job in a specific field that required 5 years experience. It paid $14 an hour, required on-call, and was in Houston. It's truly amazing how many different examples and experiences people share of these terrible jobs online.
This was the worst interview of my life. I kind of got like attacked on the interview because it started with, I had one interview with the recruiter, and then it went to like VP of marketing. And I went into it thinking of it was just going to be a casual get to know you chat. And it was almost like a presentation chat where I was just kind of like put on the spot of like all these metrics that I had no idea about. They're like, we want to grow by 10%. How would you do that? And I'm like, I don't even know what your business does. Like, I had the recruiter call yesterday and now I'm talking to you. It's very funny because I connected with the person like before the interview. I saw that they posted that they're still looking for the role like a couple days ago. And I'm just like, yeah, you probably still are if you approached it like that. And as soon as I got off the call, I emailed the recruiter. I'm like, that's the worst interview I've ever been in.
Oh, wow.
Just fully take me off the list. I felt like I was set up to fail from the beginning, and they were very kind of apologetic about it. So that was nice. But I also was just like, what happened? What just happened?
Now, to go back to that comment from you guys talking about MLMs being everywhere, we most likely have another example of that right here. Regional partner, a one-time investment fee of $9,995. And you go down to the last bullet point, first year income potential, $45,000 to $60,000. Year 2 is beyond $75,000 plus though. After you gave us $10,000 just to be let into the club, who has $10,000 to give away when you're actively searching for a job? Here we have one that's highlighted hybrid work. This position is fully on site with no remote or hybrid whatsoever. If you're seeking hybrid or remote, then these roles are not for you and do not apply. And if you're not currently located within 30 minutes of these areas, your application will not be viewed. So even though they're the ones that tag this as a hybrid work job listing, it's 100% remote. And let me write a whole paragraph about how you have to be on site. On top of needing to be under 30 minutes away from all of their locations, some people do have pretty long commutes to their work. And even that, not allowed at all. Answer these questions from the employer. What's your home address? Another one here, provide your 10-year work history in order, including part-time and temporary, school, military, and/or periods of unemployment. There should be no gaps, missing addresses, or even phone numbers. If a company is no longer in operation, provide the last known address and phone number, or list current numbers and addresses of past supervisors. How would you know that information? Applications will not be accepted with date gaps or missing info. And do not type "C resume." Just right out of the gate seems like a terrible company to work for. And we got a comment from you guys right here. They don't want employees, they want slaves. And even though this next clip is a skit, this guy is pretty spot on, talking about the corporate politics, the higher ups, and what it's like to work at one of these places.
So as some of you already know, Jacob quit last week, and as everybody knows, Jacob has been our #1 rep for the last 2 years and counting, and I wanted to tell everybody out in the open, transparently, what we are going to do about it. We are going to sue Jacob for $500,000, okay? And this is because of the damages he's going to incur on our business for leaving, okay? He's been the #1 rep for the last 2 years and counting. Him leaving is really gonna hurt this business, and he knew that, okay? So he's already been served. It's a $500,000 lawsuit, and we're waiting to hear back. But the other thing is it's gonna set precedent for everyone here. This is what happens when you leave.
They definitely do want slaves. And here we got a couple examples of ridiculous pay for the requirements. $10 an hour with flexible schedule, 4-hour, 8-hour shifts, day shifts, Monday to Friday, night shifts, and weekend availability. So whenever they want, really. Education, a master's degree is required. And a whole bunch of other experience, 2 to 5 years as well. You're talking about $20,000 a year. Why would anybody take you seriously? Here's another one, full-time, $9 an hour. And a bachelor's degree here as well. We got a comment from you guys. Some of those offered salaries would have been decent money in 1972. And here's one that I didn't understand whatsoever. Even if you're trying to outsource the work, job types, full-time and part-time, pay up to $1 a day. And you want experience in Illustrator, Adobe Creative, graphic design, and Photoshop. I don't know. I hope that this was just bait to get engagement online and not an actual real listing. But here we go. We got one of them that you have to be above and beyond 110% all the time. 7-day work week. We will not be outworked. A players only. Only A players can hire A players. That was an interesting couple of sentences. Drive. You're hungry to do what it takes for us to win. You likely have a massive chip on your shoulder and or a neurodivergent brain. Work is the key part of your identity and fulfillment in life. Ugh. Grind. We work. Text on weekends and at night. It's okay to send messages at 3 a.m. Urgency. Do in a day what it usually takes in weeks. Run through the walls to get things done. Respond in minutes or seconds. Shameless. Be extremely annoying if it means winning. Checking in on things 10 times daily. Double or quadruple text if someone hasn't responded. Call them too. Yeah, just start harassing people. That's fine. Fast firing. If someone isn't an A player, we part ways quickly. Mission driven. Make viral content as a mission sounds fun to you. So this is some sort of company making content online. Wear many hats. No job is not your job. So that means you're going to be running around doing everybody else's work. These ones are just laughable, but I guess it works sometimes because we've seen a lot of examples of people posting listings like this. It's just insane to me.
Small rant, but 3 rounds of interviews, 2 coding questions, 2 logic questions, a pop quiz, and I still didn't get the job.
And we got more clips like that up on screen right now. Thank you for your interest, but it's all the automated emails that you get when you don't get the part. And it's becoming so common to go through rounds and rounds of interviews, having to do homework, basically work for them, all for them to say, you know what, we went with another candidate, sorry. Here's one that they were so lazy that they didn't even put your name or job title in their cookie cutter template email. Dear candidate's name, thank you for taking time to apply for job title, position at Garden City. After careful consideration, we decided to move forward with other candidates whose experiences more closely align with our needs at this time. You've heard this a million times before, but they couldn't take the 10 seconds to actually write your name for the email. Great. We even got one here. Thank you for applying for the position of dishwasher. And after evaluating your skills, we've determined that your background is not a match for the requirements defined for this position. You're a dishwasher. You wash dishes. This job market is brutal. Here we have an example of somebody getting a job offer and them later rescinding it through email. Following the leadership meeting yesterday, I'm writing to let you know that we're withdrawing the employment offer previously extended to you. Due to the internal review of our current staffing levels, we determined that we're overstaffed and unable to move forward with this position at this time, and sincerely appreciate your understanding. But if these roles were reversed and you turned down their job offer, they go absolutely wild. But we got another comment from you guys right here. This opportunity is not for people who need a stable, well-paying job. That one made me laugh, and I think this goes very well with the clip up on screen. From a Chevrolet car dealership, it's a privilege to work here, not a right. Just seeing that on the wall is the biggest red flag.
I vote that we make Indeed have a comment section. Because why are there companies posting that you need 8 years of experience, a bachelor's, and a master's, and it's minimum wage? You would absolutely be obliterated in those comments.
I think a great example of that is this screenshot. What we're looking for, someone that's working to learn versus working to earn. Can afford to live on minimum wage, understands the sacrifice of working at a startup. What we're not looking for, values money over knowledge. Compensation, a whopping $10.50 an hour. In today's world, another one similar, the most important quality we're looking for in a candidate is grit. A chip on the shoulder and a little bit of brokenness is also looked upon very favorably. That's the second time somebody's talked about having a chip on their shoulder when you're just working for some random company. Here's a really funny one. On the 20th of October 2017, you applied for a senior developer position involving the following tech: Python 3, Flask, and MySQL. I don't even know what that is. During the interview, it became immediately obvious that you were unfamiliar, even at a junior developer level, let alone the experienced engineer of distributed systems, as your application claimed. As a result, blank is requesting the time consumed by your interview remitted in full. Please see below for the cost incurred. Head developer, 2 hours, $110. Head of HR, another 2 hours, $100 there. And the owner, $200 for a total of $410 that you apparently owe this company. Please pay the above cost to the following account. So it's completely okay for them to lie on job applications now, but if you do it with your resume, apparently you have to pay them. Here's another comment from you guys. I saw one listed in my area a few weeks ago for a secretary for a fencing company. They literally put in the listing that they're looking for a young, fit female who had a good sense of humor and enjoyed the gym. It sounded more like a dating profile than a job listing. I wanted to put this in because unfortunately we've seen a couple of those screenshots from job applications before. This is not a one-off experience. And I just wanted to go over this real quick because I have talked about it a few times in the job market videos. But what's up on screen right now, $65,000 for 10 years of experience. A pretty relatable clip to a lot of people right now. Basically like everything we've gone over so far. But then the second half of this, find a better job at SWE job, link in the comments. This is just an advertisement. This is starting to spread all over TikTok. Does not matter what niche. Hiding sponsored posts or ads in relatable videos. It's just starting to become incredibly annoying. But let's go over to this very interesting video from a recruiter.
Things I don't want to see on your resume in under a minute. An objective. I know what your objective is. It's to get a job. I'd rather see a summary, summarize your work experience. I also don't need to see your home address, just an email address and a phone number. Under your professional experience, in your bullets, when you write, I worked at blah, 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 I never, ever want to see the word I. Just take it off and just lead with worked or consulted with or whatever it is. I is implied. I never ever want to see irrelevant skills. I don't care about your volunteer experience, especially if it has nothing to do with this job. No, it doesn't make you look well-rounded. And no, I don't care about your personality. At this point in the process, I'm just making sure you have the skills to pass you on to the interview. You don't need to tell me that I can request your references. I know I can do that. And lastly, and this is the most important thing ever, if you forget everything I taught you, it's this. Save your resume as your name, Joe Smith. That's it. I receive thousands of resumes and they're all saved as resume.
Things I'd like to see on job postings: the pay rate, the hours, the schedule, the exact requirements. This had 343,000 likes. Don't put volunteer work. Well, can you hire me so I could stop doing that? I bet you want to see this though with 70,000 likes. We don't care about your personality. Job posting makes me go through a 90-minute personality test. Well, aren't you a ray of sunshine? Things I don't want to see when applying, making me manually put my work history when I'm already uploading a resume. This is why I can't stand HR. They act like you owe them something. As a hiring manager who gets the resume after recruiting approval, I do like to see volunteer work. I already feel like a number. May this recruiter never find me. This is why people hate the interview process. Moral of the story, don't send a resume to her. Things I'm tired of seeing on TikTok: recruiters acting like they read a resume. Not a big fan of AI, but I think I'd prefer it looking at my resume than this lady. Here's another experience. A recruiter called saying that I had 2 hours to accept their $45,000 offer or they'd move on to the next candidate. Felt pressured and said yes. The next day I checked the website and this role pays $65,000 everywhere else. Their fake urgency made me panic into accepting $20,000 less than the market rate. But I bet that recruiter got a nice kickback because he signed on to the job. Here's another one titled Entry-Level Business Analyst Consultant. Prerequisite: a 4-year degree in any STEM field and 2 to 5 years of work experience is required for an entry-level position. Before you apply, do us and yourself a favor. Watch the video below and Google us a little bit. We want you to actually want to work here, not just because rents do. Bonus points: if you drop the secret code word listed below at some point on our first call, you'll unlock an automatic interview. Kinda like a cheat code, but for your career. Is this basically like entertainment, a game to them? This one's a pretty crazy one. All cashiers, please note there'll be a $100 deduction for a no-show. No communication and no valid proof regarding not coming in for the shift, without 24 hours notice on medical appointments, and 72 hours on all other arrangements that are required, provided approval is given by management. I can't even imagine going into work and seeing that posted up on the bulletin board. We got another comment from you guys here. The craziest job listing I saw was for a coroner's assistant. 24/7, 365 on call all the time. Have to take crime scene photos, move bodies. Must be a prior cop or medical experience. $15 an hour. No pay for being on call. Completely insane. I agree.
Here's why 3 people received rejection emails from me today. I conducted 4 interviews yesterday and 3 of those people are getting rejected, and I want to tell you why so you don't do this in your interview. The first person is getting a rejection because I asked them, tell me about your least favorite boss and your most favorite boss. And when they explained their least favorite boss, they said, I didn't like that the person was telling me what to do. I had all of these ideas and they weren't listening to me. And even though he was my boss, I just didn't like having to do everything he said, even though I thought that my way was better. And then the second one, I think that this one is probably the most common. This is the most common reason that I'm sending out rejections, is because people are messing up this question. I asked them, why are you looking for a new job? He's like, yeah, it just wasn't a good fit. It just didn't work out. I got nothing there. I can't help you there. So that's a rejection. And the third one just didn't follow direction. So at the end of the interview, I asked him, can you do me a favor and take a look over the company website and get back to me and make sure that this is something you're really interested in? Can you send me an email by the end of the day and just let me know if you want to continue and move forward in the interview process? And he said yes. And then the next morning, I still don't have an email from him or anything. So maybe he just wasn't interested, but I would recommend sending an email regardless, stating that if you were interested or not. So that person's going to get a rejection email.
But again, it's completely fine for companies to ghost you if they don't want you, whether it is the job application or you're going through the interview process, and then out of nowhere just cut all communication, completely gone. The boss question is a red flag, and honestly, it's inappropriate. Do you hear yourself? From an HR manager, this interviewer needs more training. Mind you that this job pays $20,000 a year, probably. Asking about a least favorite boss is a total trap. Number 3, rejected you, I wouldn't doubt it. This has to be satire. Man, those candidates dodged a bullet. Notice how the questions have nothing to do with their qualifications, but rather how the new manager can exercise power over the new hires. Literally, this process is just based off vibes rather than the objective criteria. Good point. This didn't land the way you thought it would. Here we got a screenshot of somebody finally getting a job. San Francisco Bay Area finally answers. Only took 8 months. 5,200 applications. Ghosted on 4,879 of them. Rejected from 333. And after all of that, getting one offer and accepting it. And to go back to the last clip where you should still email the recruiter saying that you're not interested in the job anymore. Well, this person got ghosted over 4,800 times to finally get a single job. Describe your experience as it relates to this position. Do not write "see resume." What's the point of having a resume then if you're not going to look at it and you just want people to copy and paste it into your own questions? Just a complete waste of time. We got another comment here. I had an interview on Friday and asked them at the end what exactly the role is that they're looking for, as it was unclear on the job listing. They straight up told me that they're not usually hiring when they do interviews. They're just scouting for talent, to have a backlog of candidates in case a vacancy needs to be filled quickly. Wow. I wanted to tell them, thanks for wasting my time.
I had a job interview today and I just had to tell him, F it. I don't want it anymore. I don't care. Because it was my 7th interview. 7. I thought I was getting the job already, but butter my butt and call me a biscuit because I'm done. Then they tell me that there's a few more rounds of interviews to go through. What am I interviewing for? To become the president? 1, this is an entry-level position and they had the audacity to ask me, do you have any more questions for us? We literally had a staring contest for the last 6 and 7 interviews. You already know my entire genetic bloodline. How could you possibly think that I have more questions for you? After 7 interviews.
These people want us to give our arms, teeth, eyeballs, and kidneys for a job who can't even pay our bills. And we got another comment from you guys here. Skilled trades are the same way. Every company wants a 5-star plumber, electrician, painter, etc. to walk into the door, but no one wants to be the company to train them. And then I found a set of screenshots with this company just working this kid into the ground. I told her I work a lot. Oh, so like 40 hours every week? Holy airball. Now this has been a trend on TikTok for a while, but if you take a look, 221 hours, take home pay $3,500. 139 hours, 182, 150. The comment section went wild. There were over 22,000 comments. Working 221 hours a week and only making $4K in the oil field is crazy. $4K for 220 hours is slave wage, my brother. There are 336 hours in 2 weeks. You work 221 of them. You're making $18.54 an hour. You could go work at McDonald's and make better wages than that. You're being ripped off for back-breaking work. If I worked 221 hours in 2 weeks and brought home $3,500, I'd quit. And I mean, there was comment after comment. But we'll finish off this video with even more scams. This happens non-stop now because of how many people are looking for work.
What if that perfect job listing for you on LinkedIn or ZipRecruiter was actually a scam? Well, I hate to tell you, but job scam text messages and fake job postings are on the rise. That's according to the Federal Trade Commission. And they are targeting the millions of Americans hunting for work and taking advantage of a slowing job market. Now, some are pretty obvious due to their unusual wording or some obvious red flags like, hey, that's just too good to be true. But some listings are nearly indistinguishable from real ones, and they are appearing on actual legitimate websites like LinkedIn and ZipRecruiter.
I was certain that it was a real job when I first encountered it on a platform that I trust to be able to find jobs.
Here's how they often work. Early on in the supposed interview process, they'll lure applicants into handing over sensitive information like their social security numbers. Some scammers can go so far as offering someone a supposed job just to get their bank account number, claiming they need it for direct deposit, while others will try to get victims to click on a link, like for a phony Zoom interview, that then installs malicious software on their computer.
So this is why I have the scam series on my channel as well. There are more scams like this that pop up every single day. But that's all I got for you guys today. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. YouTube thinks you'll like this video popping up on screen right now, but hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave a like, and I'll talk to you guys later.